I want to ask a question if there are any questions merely verbal. To set a background for this question, I say something about metaphysics. So, in contemporary philosophy, there are metaphysical or maybe metaphysical debates over the deflationary character of metaphysics. It has two main cores, two main ways to set this deflation. First, that metaphysics questions are trivial and answers are obvious, and that metaphysical questions are verbal, so they are about use of words, not about facts. I will concentrate this second way of understanding deflation because I don't believe that there are questions which are completely verbal, and I think that every discussion has some base in real world. I want to present one example which seems to be popular and which I think it's quite interesting. I found it in Hirsch's paper Physical Object Ontology, Verbal Disputes and Common Sense, and in Sider's lecture is Metaphysics about the Real World, which is on YouTube. The question is, if a glass is kind of cup. This philosopher said that is a great example of merely verbal dispute, and I think it may look like a verbal dispute indeed, but let's create some story about it. Let's imagine that you're asking someone to give you a cup. If you want to drink some soda or juice or water, and you're not interested about what your cup looks like, you probably would be happy to get a glass or any other sort of cup because it won't bother you in what object you will drink your soda. So you will be okay with calling a glass name of cup. But let's imagine another situation when you asking someone for cup too, but in this situation you want to drink some tea and you don't want to get glass because you would be afraid that glass would broke because of heat of water, and you want something with handle because you don't want to be scalded. So in this situation you prefer to distinguish glass from cups because if you asking someone to give you a cup, you want to something in concrete shape. So in this situation, this discussion is not merely verbal, but it is grounded in some kind of our practice at least. And this practice is motivated by how our world is shaping our activity, because these substantive things which are making us think that glass is kind of cup or not is, for example, way that boiling water can react with glass and with our fingers. Maybe there are some discussions with our verbal with greater power, but for example, discussion about how to name something. For example, we can dispute over how to name our dog. It seems like merely verbal dispute, but there are things in the world which are making us to name or name not our dog in some way. For example, we won't name our dog the same as is named our neighbor dog, because when we called it, we dogs would be confused. We won't also name our dog Hitler because according to our reality, it's strictly pejorative name. Now we can ask what influence this conclusion had on metaphysical debates over deflation, and I could say that we can be calm because there are no debates over metaphysical questions which are completely verbal, so they won't be deflated. But it shows that some discussion is set in this way which are don't hitting the target of substantive matters. They are ill formulated and they should be said in other way. So, for example, this discussion about glass and cup seems verbal because it should be formulated in other way. It should be formulated in a way which grasp this problem about the boiling water and its influence on its surroundings. I want to say one thing more, that this solution won't require a world with are carved in joints. It won't require ontological realism because these things in world which are met in the world are not necessarily objective, but they can be relative and still considered as real world. For example, we won't require stable reality to claim that there is something like boiling water which are in some way independent of us and we have to subordinate to it. So I'm saying that all discussions are grounded in facts.